Hello folks, shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, presenting you with yet another wrestling review. I'm of course joined by my faithful compatriot and co-host Joe. Say hi, Joe. He's in a good mood. Well, before I start, I want to give a shout out to my good friend, a fan fiction critic, who despite not knowing much about wrestling, is a staunch and avid fan of the show. So, thank you for your support. And I'm saying what's up to her little doll friends. Hi, doll friends. Joe! Joe! Stop that! Don't you start. Don't you start. It's bad enough. You really want me to get kicked off Yahoo? You want me to get kicked off YouTube because you can't keep your hand out of your pants? Every time I mention those goddamn dolls, he starts doing that thing. Hey! Well, anyway, with that out of the way, we move on to our review. It's Monday night. It's the Monday night after the Royal Rumble, and let's see what the WWE has for us. We start off tonight with an announcement that it will be once again champion versus champion between Edge and The Miz. That's right, both of them retain their titles in non-clean fashions, but that's neither here or there. We start off with a celebration where, of course, a celebration in which, as everyone has already know right now, the winner of the 2011 Royal Rumble is Alberto Del Rio. But you knew that already. So he comes out with all this pomp and circumstance. He has his ring announcer, Ricardo Rodriguez, come to the ring with a mariachi band. And he comes out, of course, being Alberto Del Rio. So he's talking about how great he is, and talking about how his mariachi band only plays for two people in the world, the President of Mexico and himself, when The Miz comes in. Miz says that he would like to face Alberto Del Rio at WrestleMania, but he heard that last night, after Edge won, he was saying how he could beat anybody and how he's disrespecting him and how he doesn't have any respect for him or his heritage. And he's like, Alex, back me up. Yeah, I can agree to that, Miz. I can sure agree to that. He said it. He said it already. And Alberto's like, I do not think so, Senor Miz. I know you. You do not think I do not know you, Senor Miz. So, while Miz is trying to start some shit up, Edge comes to the ring. And Edge, of course, says that if he was going to talk shit to Alberto, he would have done it in his face. And if he picks him at WrestleMania, he'll beat his ass. So, this all builds up to Alberto choosing who else but to face Edge. So, we have our main event, something like it. Alberto Del Rio versus Edge, if Edge is still the champion. He congratulates him by slapping him in the face. Del Rio responds by going El Kabong and hitting his shoulder with a mariachi guitar, and then he puts him in the cross arm breaker. Good push for Alberto Del Rio. It's just good enough to man. Thinking about it, it would be a good idea for Edge to drop the belt to Del Rio. Seeing as how Edge has stated many times that he will that this likely once his contract is up he will retire. He's too injured, and he wants to retire with a good career. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. My light went out for a second. But anyway, so, and not to mention, Del Rio also happens to have he also has a feud to do against. Sorry again, my light is messing up. So again, Del Rio already has a feud in the making with Christian, and hopefully if Christian heals up enough, we could see Christian versus Alberto Del Rio for the world title. You never know. Opening segment was decent, but nothing to write home about. Let me go over my notes really quick if they load. Okay, let's see. Where was I? God damn it. Okay. We move on to the first match of the evening, a title match between Santino Marella and Vladimir Kozlov versus Nexus members was Husky Harris and Joe Perfect. Now, in terms of tag team quality matches, this one was boring. I have to say this for TNA. They may have shitty booking and they are right now in the shit with a lot of stuff, but they have a great tag team division, and they have two of the best tag teams in the world today, the Motor City Machine Guns and Beer Money. And even they could do a better match than this. Even a throwaway match between those two teams would be better than this. I mean, it just sucked. It was just boring and flat and bland. It doesn't help that the belts don't matter to anything in the WWE. So anyway, Husky Harris goes down to the fucking Cobra. 1, 2, 3. The Joke Tag Team retains. You know, this would have been better for the new Nexus to take the belts, since they came off such a dominant performance last night at the Royal Rumble. And the fact they had to go, that all their cred just got flushed down the drain by going down to the fucking Cobra. I mean, getting eliminated by Cena is one thing. John Cena is fucking Super Saiyan Jesus in the WWE, so there's no way you could stop him. But to go down to the fucking Cobra, that puts you in the same league as people like Santino and Zack Ryder. So anyway, Randy comes to the ring, RKO's both Perfect and Husky, and then sets Husky up for a punt to the head. Then Punk comes out with Otunga and Welsh Tista. He says, "No, don't do it. Don't you do it. It's a bad idea." Randy's like, maybe I shouldn't. Oh, what the hell. Punt! And he is out of there like a bat out of hell. And Michael Cole, of course, is being a heelish asshole about it, so I really don't care. Let's see. The whole segment really didn't do much for me. It really didn't sell me on the tag team champions or the challengers, so that's just a shame. I mean, those tag belts don't mean shit anymore. Moving on. Sorry if this video is running long. I'm having a lot of technical issues here. Okay, also, the Raw GM announced that later on tonight they would have a first ever Raw Royal Rumble, in which the winner would go on to face The Miz for the WWE title at Elimination Chamber. And the remaining 6 out of the 7 would face off against each other in an Elimination Chamber to determine who will face whoever faced the champion, The Miz, at WrestleMania in an Elimination Chamber match. Those 7 being Randy Orton, John Cena, of course, CM Punk, John Morrison, Sheamus, R-Truth, what are you doing here, and Jerry the King Lawler. You already know how this is going to end. Yeah. So, anyway, it's hard to keep this shit straight. I mean, even with my notes here. Let's see what else happened. Next, Ted DB Blandness comes out with Malise and says that calls out King, saying that he should be the one to be in the Royal Rumble, not Jerry the King Lawler, because he's a young up-and-comer. Ted, let me give you some advice. What the fuck have you done to deserve being given a shot at the title? Huh? What have you done besides lose and be boring, huh? Wait, what was that? What did you say? You're saying nothing? Well, that's exactly it. You've done nothing. You've been a bore, and you've been a vacant spot, and your career is on a downward slide into oblivion. So no, you don't. Jerry deserves it a lot better than you do right now. So they're talking, and Michael Cole, in his own way, defends Jerry the King Lawler. And for a second, a small fraction of a second, I was a coal miner. Yeah. Then, then Ted pushes King around. King says not having a shit, and he goes to punch Ted when he pulls Malise in front of him. Now there were a lot of things I would do to Malise and what she would be to me. The last thing, it would be a human shield. And of course Malise takes offense to this, and she finally slaps the crap out of him and breaks up with his ass. And then King knocks him out. Cole, of course, goes apeshit. And I'm telling you, one of these days, Cole's gonna get a 5-knuckle sandwich in his face, and that will be the happiest day of my life. All right, moving on. Let's see. I'm skipping ahead on my notes, and also tonight, also there were a lot of vinaigrettes shown tonight. A lot of promos for a guy walking in the rain with a large trench coat and going into a cabin, and the numbers 21111. I think that was, or 21611. I couldn't tell, but if I'm right, I hope it's. I do hope that it's I do hope it's Sting. You never know. Anyway, next matchup, if you could call it that, since Michael Cole kept calling attention to himself, was between Tyson Kidd and Daniel Bryan. And of course the Bella Twins were providing commentary, and they were talking about how they felt bad for him and how he's a virgin and a vegan. Like, girls, how can you tell if he's a virgin? He's dating fucking Gail Kim. I wouldn't be a virgin if I was with her. And frankly, I would trade up to Gail Kim over the Bellas any day. That's just how I am. I just like her. And Cole would not shut up about how King's chances were next to nothing, and just it took away from the match. And I really couldn't notice the match because they kept cutting back to the announcer table, and it's just a shame. Daniel Bryan wins, but the match wasn't that good because they kept switching away from it. Q the Bellas get into the ring. Q cat fight, and I don't know. We're moving on. So far tonight, it hasn't been a good one tonight. Sorry, my notes are skipping. Next up, we have our champ versus champ match between Miz and Edge, and according to the Raw GM, there must be a winner. It was a decent match. Both of them had better matches with their respective #1 contenders the night before, but it was just blah. And of course, we would expect some Cena interference, since the Miz did throw him over the top rope last night in the Royal Rumble. And of course, Cena appears at the top of the Coliseum, top of the arena, and starts cheering for Miz, saying Miz is awful. Apparently this was enough to distract him and giving Edge the spear and the win. And then the Miz was outside the ring, and Michael Cole was so incensed and so worried for him that he left his position as a commentator and just went over there and just started, "It's okay, Miz, it's okay. Want me to suck your dick? Get away! I'm not in the mood." And then he tries to order Alex Riley to go after Cena. Now, if you saw the Royal Rumble, then you know why that's a dumb move. But if you didn't, I'll let you know. Alex Riley has the unique distinction of being only the second man in WWE history to ever eliminate himself from the Royal Rumble. That's right. He was out on the apron and he slipped and fell. Think about that. You're asking a guy who eliminated himself to go after Super Saiyan Jesus Cena. That's why you're stupid, Cole. That's why you're stupid. The match was blasé. It didn't help or hurt either of them. It's just blah. Next matchup is a Divas tag team match between the new champion Eve and Natalia versus Lay Cool. It was an alright match. Only thing I liked about it is that Eve got pinned, and as everyone knows, I don't like Eve Torres. She doesn't deserve that title, and it's just bad. Awesome Kong, if you're listening to this, kill them all. Kill them all. Next up was probably one of the most painful things I've ever seen in my life. They were showing the trailer to a movie, a Triple H movie called The Chaperone, and it sucked. My God, did it suck. And Joe agrees with me. Joe damn near passed out after seeing it. It was like 3 different movies: a dramatic family movie, a comedy, an action movie, all smushed together into a trailer, and then tied up with piss and shit and hope and awful and just ugh. I'd rather watch the Green Lantern trailer was better to watch than this. Oh Lord. And I'm not saying Triple H is a bad actor. I mean, he's good for as an action star, but no, just no. I tried to move on. I'm gonna try to move on. Oh God. Sorry. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to get thrown up a bit. Anyway, the next matchup is a tag match between the Usos. You remember them? Versus the Great Khali and Mark Henry. Someone's gonna get squashed. But lo and behold, the Raw GM saves us and says that instead of that he knows that, come on, it's the Usos versus the Great Khali and Mark Henry. Of course there's going to be a squash match. So instead, let's have a dance-off. A dance-off. Dance-off. Well, I'll give the Usos credit. Those boys can dance. Those boys got some rhythm. They can dance. But then I saw Michael Cole trying to dance. That's not pretty. And then it came to the turn of Mark Henry and Great Khali. Great Khali can dance. I mean, Mark Henry can dance. Well, as much as a big man like him can dance, which was impressive. But Khali, he has about as much rhythm as a paraplegic trying to swim in a swimming pool full of grape jello. It was that bad. I wanted to throw myself out of the window. I haven't done that in a while for Raw, and it. This is gonna go down as one of the. This is gonna make Wrestle crap. I guarantee you. This is gonna make Wrestle crap. If not for the dancing, just Michael Cole trying to dance, and at this point, Josh Matthews replaces Jerry the King Lawler, who's getting ready for his match. And I will say, I like Josh Matthews. He's not afraid to out talk and just not let Michael Cole have his way. He will get in his ass, and I like it. I mean, you're growing on me, Josh. You're growing on me. Okay, let's. I'm sorry, that segment was just so bad. I'd rather watch TNA. Yeah, it's that bad. All right. Let's move on. Please tell me this is the. Whew. God, I'm having flashbacks of that fucking trailer. All right, we reached the main event. The Raw Rumble. First two people out are the Sex, John Morrison, and King Lobster Head, Sheamus. Now, just like any other rules of the Royal Rumble, after a given certain amount of time, another wrestler will be entered into the ring. Then over the top rope, feet touch the floor, you're gone. So, And I will say this match was pretty good. It had a lot of drama, had a lot of great spots, especially from John Morrison. Morrison pulled 2 epic saves out of his ass. Just when you thought there isn't anything more that John Morrison could do to surprise us after last night, he pulls 2 more out of his ass. Once when he was thrown out of the ring and he slid back first and his back was towards the ring. He held on and his feet were like hooked under the ring rope and he pulled himself back in. Then another moment he was thrown out of the ring. He was forward and his hands were on the mat, but his feet were still on the ring apron and he slid himself back in the ring. He just would not go out. And fuck you to R-Truth for eliminating Randy Orton. He didn't deserve that kind of honor. But long story short, your new #1 contender to face The Miz at Elimination Chamber for the world title, Jerry the King Lawler. He didn't deserve it. I love the King, but he doesn't. I really can't express how I feel about it. I'll just move on to the end. That's how we end Raw, with John Cena holding up Jerry the King Lawler's hand, and Michael Cole going absolutely ape shit. And that was a good thing, since I really hate Cole. But overall, this was a very bad Raw. They had some good spots in it, but overall it was a bad Raw. Shame, coming after such a great pay-per-view, coming from such a great pay-per-view event like the Royal Rumble, and such awesome moments, we cut to this. I'd expect this kind of shit out of TNA, but Raw, you know better. You could have been better. I mean, between Jerry Lawler winning and between a lot of shit that just went down tonight, and and also that shitty ass trailer for the Chaperone, I am not happy about this Raw. I'm gonna go drink some brandy now. I'm gonna get drunk, and hopefully I will forget that I ever watched this Raw. And you should too if you ever watched it. So if you watched Raw, drink something, inject something, just anything to blot out the memory of it, because this Raw was just bad. Thumbs down. So that was Raw. And hopefully TNA will be better if I'm reading the spoilers correctly. So let me just end it off before I start throwing up on everything I own. This is shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, and Joe saying goodbye and wrestle on.